It is now my great pleasure to welcome Ita Buttrose to the stage to MC our International Action on Dementia Day. Ladies and gentlemen, Ita Buttrose.
Thank you, Catherine, and what a wonderful initiative Nightingale Nurses is. I do believe they have a stand here, and the breaks, if you want to find out a bit more, you can go to the stand and talk to them. We're very pleased that so many of you could be with us today during Dementia Awareness Month with the theme, which you've heard, but you're going to hear it many times today, I think, you are not alone. It's an important theme, and we chose it for a number of reasons. We want to remind everyone in the community that a person with dementia is still a person who wants to feel valued, respected in the community in which he or she lives. We want people who know someone with dementia or a person who cares for someone to stay connected with them. There's no need to feel embarrassed or awkward. Treating people with the same kind of respect, kindness, inclusiveness and thoughtfulness that you always have is what makes a difference to them. They are the same person, your parent, sibling, partner, relative, friend, as they were before the diagnosis. They may just need a little more understanding, time and support. Our research tells us that people with dementia are almost twice as likely to have high rates of loneliness, that they and their carers are far lonelier than the rest of the population. Not long after a diagnosis of dementia, they lose friendships. They begin to feel isolated and alone. This year, Alzheimer's Australia conducted a survey to find out more about the experiences of loneliness for people with dementia and their carers. We weren't surprised when the survey showed that 1 in 2 carers reports high loneliness. While caring for someone can be and often is a rewarding experience, it can be emotionally, physically and mentally challenging as well. Caring is often a 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week role. A carer doesn't have much free time for social activities. We estimate there are approximately 1.2 million Australians involved in the care of someone with dementia, and I consider them to be among our nation's finest unsung heroes. Their contribution is incredible. It's estimated that in Australia, over the course of 1 year, more than 1.3 billion hours of unpaid care is provided by family members and friends to people they care for and care about. Other findings from our loneliness research shows that compared to the rest of the population, people with dementia are more than 2 times likely as not to see friends, more than 3 times as likely to not have a friend to confide in, compared to carers and the rest of the population, and people with dementia are almost 3 times as likely not to have a friend to call on for help. My father had vascular dementia, so I have an intimate understanding of the kind of impact dementia has on the person and on the family and the friends. Dementia is not a normal part of ageing. So many people think it is. It is not a normal part of ageing. It does usually occur when people are older, to people 65 and older, but it can happen to anybody. Even people as young as in their 40s and 50s can get dementia. We call that younger onset dementia. The most common dementia in Australia is Alzheimer's disease, and it accounts for 70% of the cases we have. Dementia is a terminal progressive condition that causes cognitive decline. It is the second leading cause of death in our country, and there's no cure. And currently there are 353,800 Australians living with the disease, 1,800 new cases every week. And something few people are aware of, dementia is the single biggest cause of disability in older Australians aged 65 and over, and the 3rd leading cause of disability burden overall. As the peak body and leading voice on dementia, Alzheimer's Australia provides all kinds of information, as Catherine mentioned, all kinds of information about dementia and memory loss, as well as access to information, education and support. And that includes advice for keeping your brain healthy and reducing your risk of dementia. We have a wonderful booklet called Your Brain Matters. All you have to do is go to Google and type in Your Brain Matters, and it will lead you to it. And it tells you about the 5 simple steps that we recommend to keep your brain healthy. Look after your heart. Be physically active. Mentally challenge your brain. Follow a healthy diet, and enjoy social activity. We know that we can positively influence the lives of people dealing with a dementia diagnosis. We have counsellors to help both the person who gets the diagnosis and also the carer. I think carers could often benefit from counselling, but they're always so stoic. Oh no, I don't need anything. But carers do need sometimes to talk to someone about how they're feeling. Don't be stoic if you're a carer. Talk to someone, ring one of our counsellors. Carers always put the needs of the person with dementia ahead of their own. And I usually say to them, because I see them everywhere, and I can see they're at their wits' end, and I say, if your husband or your wife was well, what do you think they'd say to you? They'd tell you to take a break. And I think you have to remember that when you're a carer. So no carer should ever feel guilty about taking a couple of days off or having a week of respite care. Today you're going to hear from a number of outstanding speakers and panellists who will provide you with a great deal of quality information. I'm going to introduce them to you more fully as we go along, but just briefly, we have Dr. Ron Peterson, Alzheimer's Australia's special guest for Dementia Awareness Month, a world leader in the field of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. We have Maria Crotty, a Professor of Rehabilitation at Flinders University, Mark Yates, the Associate Professor and Director of Clinical Studies at the Ballarat Clinical School at Deakin University, Maya Rashia Tux, the Acting Assistant Director from the Aged Care Funding Instrument and Compliance from the Australian Department of Health, the author, lawyer and Senior Government Advisor Carolyn Cramwell, the author of Navigating Alzheimer's, which is a fantastic book, and it's going to be on sale here today, and Anne Peach, who received a diagnosis of early onset dementia in 2012. She and her husband will talk to us. Kate Swaffer, the Chair, CEO and co-founder of Dementia Alliance International, who lives with dementia, will also be with us. So to our speakers today, thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you for being here today and for helping us to raise awareness about dementia and to help break down the stigma and the misconceptions associated with the condition so that people living with dementia feel less alone. Now, I have an audience message as well. I want to encourage all of you here today to talk openly about dementia with your friends, with your family, to people within your professional and social networks, through social media. Do not be afraid of dementia. Be a friend to those who are experiencing dementia. You can support people living with dementia to live well. They just need a little more time and support from you. And by maintaining contact, you offer understanding and friendship. And most importantly, you reduce their isolation. As you go about your day, if you see someone behaving in a way that indicates they are confused, if someone is behaving in an unusual manner, rather than think about the inconvenience or get irritated that the person might cause you to become, ask yourselves, could it be dementia? Could you help that person? You know, I'm sure some of you experienced this. You're waiting in the queue in the supermarket and the person gets to the checkout and suddenly everything stops. There seems to be some confusion. Well, if you're in the queue, you might say, can I help you? Have you lost your credit card? Are you ready to pay for your items? Sometimes it just takes that one little gesture to make all the difference to the day of someone with dementia, and usually you can straighten out the situation. One of our current goals is to make Australia dementia-friendly, to create communities where people with dementia feel involved, where they can take part in everyday activities like having a coffee at the local cafe, singing in a choir, doing art classes at a local art gallery. It's not a difficult thing to do. I didn't realise it when I was my father's principal carer, but I created a dementia-friendly community for him. He wanted to stay in his own home. And he was a boy from Adelaide, I must tell you, but he moved to Sydney and he lived in one of the suburbs of Sydney, where he could walk to the shops. And if the chemist thought Dad seemed a bit agitated, he would ring me. And I would go to see Dad, or I'd make sure one of his carers was nearby. He consistently felt that he had no money. And I think this is quite common with people with dementia. Dad would say to me, "I've got no money." No, I said, "Dad, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. You've got plenty of money." "No, I have nothing. I have nothing." I used to go to the bank and harass the bank. So I went to see the bank manager, and I arranged with the bank manager, when Dad turned up thinking he had no money, could the bank manager please talk to him in a private room? And he did. He was very kind. He did. And I'd check with Dad later in the day, and Dad would say to me, "Oh, I saw the chairman of the board today. He said everything's fine. I've got plenty of money." I said, "I told you, Dad. I told you not to worry." So you see, it's not hard. It's just sort of thinking, how can you make life a bit easier for the person with dementia? So please recommend Alzheimer's Australia for support and assistance to people that you know with dementia. We're here to help. You can call us. You can meet with us. We have a dementia helpline, 1800 100 500, so you can find out how we can best help you or your family or the community groups in which you're involved. You can recommend Alzheimer's Australia SA to healthcare workers and health organisations that you associate with. You can support Alzheimer's Australia by volunteering, by fundraising, giving donations, becoming a member. All the funds raised help our advocacy work. You can support the Alzheimer's Dementia Research Foundation or the Hazel Hawke Alzheimer's Research and Care Fund. We need as much money as possible for research. We have to find a cure. We have to find a treatment. We have to find a way to slow it down. Dementia must be everyone's business. During Dementia Awareness Month, Alzheimer's Australia wants to encourage people to find out more about dementia, to work with us to break down the many misconceptions about dementia that exist in the community, and to reassure people living with dementia and their carers that the community does care. They are not alone. And please embrace our vision of a dementia-friendly Australia. Thank you.